Securities offered through TJ Stearns, a registered representative of Crown Capital Securities LP, member FINRA SIPC. Content is intended to provide accurate information, however, is not intended as financial, tax, or legal advice. Please consult a financial, legal, or tax professional for specific information regarding your individual situation. Opinions expressed and provided are for general informational purposes only and should not be considered a solicitation for the purchase or sale of any security.
Welcome to Protect and Grow with Chicagoland certified financial planner Tim Stearns of TJ Stearns Incorporated. Trust, respect, and results. TJ Stearns Incorporated focuses on comprehensive financial planning and benefits.
And welcome into the program. This is Protect and Grow Chicagoland Retirement with Chicagoland's certified financial planner, CFP, Tim Stearns, president and founder of TJ Stearns Inc. Tim, welcome back in.
Peter, thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure, Tim. We appreciate the time, the opportunity, the guidance, and perspective you share with Chicagoland area savers and investors. It is a complicated, confusing, crazy financial world. Getting any kind of direction, having any kind of common sense about what to do with our money seems to be absent. So each week you check in with us and help us to have the information to make the decisions to protect and grow our money and our dollars. And this time of year, Tim, I think everybody's big concern, and maybe about half of the audience possibly already handled this. And then like the rest of us, many are probably procrastinating and waiting till the last minute, but it's tax time. So talking about those taxes, how we can save the most, what's best, pay now, pay later, will rates and brackets change into the future? All of this, we really need to get a good grasp and understanding, don't we?
Yes, I see that a lot of people are, reactionary when it comes to taxes. They worry about it now, and that's why I try to strive to tell our clients to, make sure that they're planning ahead of it. Are they maybe looking to Roth 401ks and that type of thing? How is that going to change your tax brackets? The other thing I find is a lot of people don't really know what tax bracket they're in. They think, oh, I'm at 29%, and every dollar that is coming off their checks is going 29% of it. That's not how it goes. It's marginalized, right? So you start out just like every American at 10%, then it jumps to 12, 22, 24, and then, ultimately.
So when they say the rich need to pay more in taxes,
right.
And by the way, the rich equals most of the middle class and anyone up, but it's a progressive tax system. And so it's not just proportional to how much income. The more income you make, the higher the tax rate you're being charged.
Absolutely. And I think people are paying their fair share. I don't know if people really get that. That was said a lot during the elections, make the rich pay for things. They're paying their fair share and then some.
Well, I mean, but to a point, right? Because I think that the top tax bracket federally might be 37%. And
that's correct.
It doesn't matter if you make $650,000 or $60 million in a year, you're still falling into that bracket. So it's really that progressive system is kind of, that's a lot of money, 650,000, but it kind of ends there. And then everybody above that, that's ultra wealthy, is still paying the same, or does it keep going from there?
Right. Well, no, to your point, it does. It taps out at 37%. The one thing I will say is that with the Democrats having, the president, the Senate, and the House, we could see these things change. I know that was talked about quite a bit, that they wanted to, redo the tax code yet again to capture more of the dollars that they're missing out on.
Well, let's talk about us normal people for the course of the program. Those maybe making a little less than 60 million a year, those that are making a reasonable amount, a good living, that are doing well. But we need to know where we fall in those brackets in order to plan effectively, don't we? And we need to understand where we might fall into the future, or at least plan for where we will be in retirement.
Right. And I think that's where income allocation comes in, doing an actual plan so that you know exactly what you're going to be spending. I have it said all the time in this office, we're going to be at a lower tax bracket. And when we really get down to the nuts and bolts of it, they're about the same. We've talked about this before, but they might be taking the trip that they never got to take. They might be buying that car that they've always wanted. But at the end of the day, about the same amounts coming out. And unless they're downsizing, considerably, their bills are going to be a lot of, the utility bills and that type of thing are still going to be the same, like it or not. And that's stuff that comes into income allocation that we can plan for.
So if we're living off of half of our wages and our income today, maybe we'll drop tax brackets in retirement. But if we're living off of essentially what we're bringing home, then we really need to consider that taxes could be the same or even higher into the future.
Right. And I do see them going higher. They want to capture those dollars, especially with the stimulus packages that they passed. I mean, someone's going to need to pay the bill on that, and that's one area that I think they're going to do. And you and I have talked about this. The estate tax, when it sunsets, is going to be coming down to 5 million in 2025. But that being said, it's been talked about moving it down to 3 million, which is going to get a lot more Americans than the $5 million.
Well, bottom line, rules can and probably will change when it comes to taxes. I heard it once said that when it comes to retirement, the tax code is written in pencil, meaning that the IRS can change it. They are the
Right.
eraser. They can change that at any point in time. So we need to pay attention to what the rules are. We need to plan for where we intend to be, but we also need to be able to pivot and change and adapt with circumstances and times. And ladies and gentlemen, that's what the income allocation plan, that's what the protect and grow plan, that's what having a CFP like Tim Stearns on your side is really all about. And that's why we encourage you each and every week to get that protect and grow plan put together. Understand what an income allocation is and what it means for your confidence and security in retirement. Pick up the phone and give Tim a call. He is willing to put that plan together for listeners to this program. No cost, no obligation, no downside to placing the call, no reason to meet in person, no need to. Tim can conduct these reviews through the ease and the convenience of technology or in person. Things beginning to open up, and that's always nice and a very
Agreed.
welcome change. But if you'd like to get your Protect and Grow plan customized individually for you, pick up the phone now. Give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. And then Tim, the general information, but the very poignant information and very important information contained in the book, Income Allocation, really goes a long way in addressing many of these issues as well.
Well, I mean, and again, with that book, I'd love to get that book into the first 10 callers that have over $500,000 worth of assets that we can let them get the book, whether it's digitally or we can mail it to them, but get it into their hands so that they have it, and that it really spells out how retirement should work. We don't wing it. We work in the know. We talk about that all the time. It drives me nuts. I was at a restaurant the other night, and I heard a guy say, "Well, I think I'm going to be okay, in retirement." And I couldn't live like that. And it's not going to be a happy retirement for the guy. He's going to always be wondering, do I have enough? What is your magic number? Everyone talks about that. There is no magic number, but if you do an income allocation plan, you'll know exactly what you need to do to get to the promised land, which is, an ideal retirement.
Well, again, if you'd like a copy of that book, Income Allocation, pick up the phone, give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Or if you'd like that Protect and Grow plan, a financial investment, a retirement plan customized to you for your situation, built and designed with the help of a certified financial planner. No cost for that. Again, pick up the phone, give a call, 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. Tim, the way that we've been taught to save for retirement, it's like we are deferring our way to the highest possible taxed retirement that we could set ourselves up for. Deferring taxes today is paying taxes in retirement. There's George Bush famously said something along the lines of, "Fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, and I can't get fooled again."
Right.
He sort of fumbled his way through that one. But I feel
Right.
like taxes, it's sort of the same thing. If we pay once, that's what the IRS expects. But the way that we're set up for retirement, we're paying time and time and time again, and shame on us for doing so. It's
Right.
just lack of education.
Right. And you can also see that people are paying more on Social Security on the taxes on that as well. So these are things that we look at with our clients. We make sure that people want to know, are you working with a net number? You're working with a gross number when they tell us their budget. And then we make sure that the budget is tried and true. But yeah, to your point, you're paying more than once, and that's just not good for anybody.
Well, we talked a few weeks ago about how there were three buckets or categories where we can place our savings, but there's also three different types of income that we can create. There's active earned income, there's investment growth and income, and then there's passive income. And it's kind of like as you move up the tier in each one of those, the buckets for the savings and the income that they're creating, everything gets more and more tax efficient. And yet Americans are taught to stay kind of in the first one or two buckets and not as much move to the third category, which could help us keep as much of our money as possible.
Right. And that's why, there's different areas that you can put your money in. Everyone, what I'm seeing with a lot of baby boomers, 99% of them, they're all in 401ks, and that's their largest asset besides their house. And it hasn't been hit by the IRS yet for taxes. So, you know, passive income's a great thing, but obviously if it's going to be active income, it's going to be coming out of your 401k. And, again, it's never been hit. And you basically, you're paying on the crop, not the seed.
Well, again, if you need help in setting up your plan, pick up the phone. A certified financial planner can be of assistance with no cost, no obligation. That's what Tim Stearns is here to do, to help Chicagoland area savers and investors make the most of every opportunity that you have to save, invest, and grow a dollar. 800-640-2256, the number to call, 800-640-2256. So, Tim, if we are looking to plan either to save last year or for the years ahead, what are some maybe last minute opportunities that are still available for us procrastinators?
Well, there's right now up until April 15th, you can double up 2 years worth of contributions. You can do last year plus this year. That's one of the things. And then obviously for your spouse, you can do the same thing again. I like that a lot. The other thing last minute strategy, you can make estimated payments. So you're not paying penalties when you finally do have to stroke the check to the Illinois Department of Revenue or the IRS. Update your withholdings. Make sure that you're doing everything the way that be efficient and get ahead of it. And that's why we try to tell people, plan now for the end of the year next year, instead of having these, things where you have to write a big check or, unfortunate surprise, that you don't want.
And then, Tim, we hear about opportunities for educational savings and healthcare savings accounts and HSAs and FSAs, flexible spending accounts. Are those things that we should be paying attention to help us be efficient with our taxes as well?
Absolutely. I love the HSAs. Years ago when they first came out, a lot of people poo-pooed them, but that is the way the world is going. I'd say about over 70% of the people I meet with that are educated about what they are have the HSAs.
Well, again, there are strategies, but they're unique, they're individual, they're specific for your situation on what strategy you should be implementing, depending on your goals, depending on the rest of your circumstances. So get in touch with a certified financial planner. They can help you with that advice proactively on the financial perspective. And then, Tim, in your office, you have a CPA on staff that you work with the tax planning in coordination and conjunction, correct?
Correct. We have a great CPA that I've been using for over 18 years. And, he's a great partner for us to have. A great idea for a sounding board, knows his stuff inside and out. The other thing we have, as you know, is an estate attorney. And that's very helpful as well, because a lot of people come in here and they don't really know what they have and what they don't have, or they haven't updated their will or trust in over 5 years, and things have changed where, maybe there was a divorce, a new birth, what have you, where you need to make sure that everything's up to date.
Well, again, Tim Stearns is that certified financial planning resource, the CFP, ladies and gentlemen, that will be in your corner. So pick up the phone, give a call, 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. Tim, when it comes to taxes and when it comes to saving and getting prepared for retirement, a lot of times there are some moves that we should make and pre-retirement steps that we should take, including reviewing what we expect to pay in tax and how we'll handle healthcare coverage once we stop working. All of these things need to be handled and addressed. And there was a new article from Kiplinger that pointed out 11 money moves to make in the decade before you retire. Tax is a big one. We sort of touched on that. What are a few others?
Well, one thing I'm going to point out is that the Gallup survey that was done in 2019 said that 55% of Americans 55 or older are confident they will have enough money for a comfortable retirement. So that leaves 45% of the of our society wondering if they have enough. So why ask you, why would you have not done a income allocation plan to make sure that you do have enough? So that's some of the things that we talk to people about. We figure out, we ask them, figure out what retirement means to you. I mean, what does that look like? Are you on a golf course? Are you helping with grandchildren? Are you moving away? You know, what have you? We want to know, you know, will you downsize your lifestyle, keep it the same, or travel more, take on new hobbies? You know, start visualizing what that looks like so that you can help your self to that future, and you know, build it and they will come type of thing.
Well, I guess, Tim, having the conversations about the planning probably helps in that aspect where we are figuring out what retirement means to us. And then we've got to figure out the financial side once we figure out the life vision.
Right. Well, I mean, you know, there's a few common rules of thumb that people are using. It's an estimation number, but you know, having 12 times your salary socked away or enough money to save to generate at least 80% of your pre-retirement income annually. That's one thing. You know, but again, everyone's different, you know, and there's no cookie cutter here when we do a financial plan for people. We make sure that we understand exactly, you know, what's the estimated retirement spending budget for categories like housing, food, travel, and insurance. And insurance is a big component. And then obviously the one that I'm not even talking about, the 800-pound gorilla in the room, are taxes. You know, how much are you paying in taxes? And is there a way to mitigate that, you know, that type of thing?
When you add up all the costs, retirement can be pretty expensive.
Absolutely.
Taxes, we've talked about, probably our largest known expense over our lifetime. Healthcare, probably our largest potential expense. And then you've got inflation and everything else to factor in. Actually, I've got a math problem for you. I recently heard, Tim, and don't worry, I'll give you the answer here.
Good.
But the real problem is in figuring out what it is. So what is 2 times 3 times 7 times 10 times 52 times 20?
That's easy. You're going to give me the answer.
Yeah, the answer is 400, and I say that, and I hadn't done it yet. It's 428 2 times 3 times 7 times 10 times 52 times 20, 436,800. Okay?
Okay.
Now, what does that represent?
You tell me.
2 people eating 3 meals a day,
Yeah.
7 days a week,
Yep.
at $10 a meal,
Right.
52 weeks a year for 20 years.
Right.
Food costs alone in retirement could be $436,800.
Sure.
Right. And sure, some of this money is going to be generated along the way from growth and gains and interest and Social Security income. But we've got to account for a lot of expenses in retirement, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, that's a scary number, $436,000 of just food, you know, not to mention property taxes, other things that you have to spend money on, and you know, medicine, health insurance, that type of thing. That's you know, these are things that people need to get ahead of, and I don't understand people who have not really done a plan.
Yep.
You know, I see people who just kind of want to wing it, and I just don't understand that at all in retirement.
Well, I think that's why the next 2 items on the Kiplinger article in the 11 Money Moves so important. Give your savings a checkup and save as much as you can. These
Right.
are going to be important.
Right. Absolutely. You know, another thing is, you know, stop spending on the kids. If you have kids, the decade before you retire is usually when they head off to college and have other financial needs, like buying their first home. Uh, Definitely this boat is, you know, I have 3 children myself for college. You know, don't put your children's needs ahead of your own retirement goals. You know, I've seen people, you know, robbing themselves from their 401k so they can put little Johnny through the best school that he can possibly get into. I mean, he can always retire, excuse me, he can always borrow money for that, you know, versus, you know, where are you going to borrow money in retirement so that you are staying retired?
When you fly on an airplane, Tim, before takeoff, they go through this standard safety speech in the protocol, and they say, if masks ever drop from the ceiling and you're traveling with small children, always make sure to secure your own mask
Right.
before securing that of a child. And I think, you know, as a parent, instinctively at that moment, you're panicking for your child, and you would try to do it for your child first. They specifically remind you of that before every flight. And the reason being is that if you're not in a stable situation, you're not doing anything to stabilize those that depend on you.
Right.
And so that's why I think doing for ourselves to make sure that we have a stable retirement is a favor, is thoughtful for our family, because you don't want to turn around and be reliant on little Johnny that you put through the best school to provide you for support during his potential peak earning years. And I think that's where a lot of people are maybe making some missteps, Tim. It's not
Right.
selfish.
No, I agree. And it's, if anything, no one wants to be a burden to their kids either. Right. So I think that's something that needs to be addressed by society. I see this all the time, people putting their kids' needs way ahead of themselves. And then, it hurts them in the end.
What else do we need to do in the home stretch, Tim?
I will tell you this, and I've seen this way too many times, is you need to be more conservative in your investments. I have people who come in here and they have, their stock portfolio is growing it by leaps and bounds the last 12 years. And it's taken over. I met with a couple the other day. They had 94% of their money in stocks, and they're 60, and he wants to retire tomorrow, and she is retired. So these are things that people need to take a look at, and see kind of what your risk analysis is. And they'll say, well, I don't, I think it'll be a moderate aggressive. Well, in retirement, you can't really do that. You need to, it's the power of compounding.
Well, we need to make sure that if the market suddenly drops 25, 30, 40%, it's not going to affect our lifestyle. And that, Tim, really is what the Protect and Grow plan is all about, and what the book Income Allocation is all about, right?
Absolutely. And that's, again, why I'd like to get that book, whether it's digitally or mailed to them, or they can come in and get it. The book Income Allocation by my good friend David Gaylor. It's an excellent book that really spells out how retirement should work, so that you have that ideal retirement that lasts at least 30 years.
Tim, as we've already talked about, you also put together an individual specific plan for savers and investors across Chicagoland, that Protect and Grow plan. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll help you do just as it sounds: protect what's important, identify opportunities to grow your money. Or if you're one of the first 10 callers with at least 500,000, you can request that book Income Allocation. Some of the strategies fit best for those who have saved aggressively. So pick up the phone, give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. And Tim, planning ahead for taxes, as we've mentioned on this program, another big step.
Yes. And that is probably your biggest expense in retirement, besides, health insurance, or Medicare, whatever you want to say. Fidelity estimates that the average couple will need $295,000 to cover medical expenses in retirement. And this does not include long-term care, which, again, most people, 7 out of 10 Americans, don't have long-term care, and 9 out of 10 of us are going to have it.
Why it certainly would be helpful to aim to be debt-free in retirement as well.
Absolutely. Right. I mean, that's why I love these new life insurance policies that are a hybrid, that actually have long-term care components to it, because my problem with long-term care insurance by itself is that you either use it or lose it. So what we do is we sell a hybrid where we can actually use the death benefit to pay off long-term care if we need to do that. Or you have the ability to, if you pass on money to your heirs tax-free, versus a 401k with this, the stretch IRA being history because of the Secure Act. These are things that people really don't know about, and they need to check it out. So those are things that we educate people.
And Tim, Murphy's Law says that what can go wrong will go wrong. As we are putting together our plan for retirement, do we need to act as though that's optimistic?
Well, I mean, when we do a plan for someone, we under promise, over perform. We don't assume a huge return. We don't assume, a bull market for 20 years, that type of thing. So yeah, I mean, I think you want to, temper your enthusiasm for being all in the market, especially when we've had about a 12-year bull market.
Well, Tim, you've made two valuable offers on today's program: one for the Protect and Grow plan, one for the book Income Allocation. Can you just recap both of those and how people can take advantage for us?
Well, number one, I'd love to get the book into their hands, which is, Income Allocation, digitally or via mail, or they can come in. The second one is that we can do an income allocation plan for them. There's no obligation. We can do it via Zoom. We are seeing people in the office, social distancing, all that fun stuff, making sure that we stay healthy. But I mean, people need these things more than ever, especially with what we've seen happen in the last year.
Well, TJ Stearns Inc., their goal is to help savers and investors determine your outcome by being better prepared, by having that plan in place. Specifically, if you'd like to learn how you can retire, when you can retire, how much do you need to retire, how much income can you count on in retirement, how can you keep as much of your money, lower your fees, improve your outlook, pick up the phone, give a call. Tim Stearns and his team, his staff, willing and able to help. They're standing by. Looking forward to hearing from you. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. And Tim, we always appreciate your time and guidance here on the program.
Peter, thanks again for having me.
Tune into Chicagoland certified financial planner Tim Stearns' full radio program on 890 WLS every Sunday at 11 a.m. and visit tjstearns.com for many valuable resources, including other great episodes of Chicagoland Retirement. Be sure to subscribe.
Securities offered through TJ Stearns, a registered representative of Crown Capital Securities LP, member FINRA SIPC. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature, not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs.